It's about that time, and now it's going down. And we ain't letting nothing stop us, ain't no slowing down. Now, it's Kingdom Marketing Secrets. And every single week, you gotta pick this.
I think it's finally time. I think it's time to flow. I think it's time to start this podcast so they can know the right tips and strategies that bring success. It calls heaven on earth and our busyness. But this is all true because he changed the game and brought the kingdom to every soul representing his name. Now position yourself in him to be blessed and bring heaven on earth in your busyness. It's about that time and now it's going down. And we ain't letting nothing stop us, ain't no slowing down. Nah, it's Kingdom Marketing Secrets, and every single week you gotta pick this. It's about that time, and now it's going down. And we ain't letting nothing stop us, ain't no slowing down. Nah, it's Kingdom Marketing Secrets, and every single week you gotta pick this.
Welcome to Kingdom Marketing Secrets, where you'll hear the best tips, tactics, and takeaways, and any other cool words starting with T, so you can advance your business online the Kingdom way. Welcome your host, Christopher Harold.
Yo, what's going on, my friend? Christopher Harold here, the online marketing Superman, Mr. Over-Deliver, and a founder of the fastest growing community today for Christ-centered kingdom entrepreneurs, God's masterpiece. And I am excited to be before you today, my friend, to share a really interesting episode. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while, for the past few weeks, and I think now is a great time to do this because we just recently finished up an amazing money and marketing masterclass, and this topic kind of reminds me of this. I'm gonna share some stories that I think you can relate to. That'll be able to help you a lot with this episode. So again, welcome, my friend, to the Kingdom Marketing Secrets podcast. If this it's your first time checking me out, you have made a very smart decision. Stay here. Do not go anywhere, my friend. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast, leave a review, and also share it with others as well. All right. So also, again, leave a review. It's very important you leave a review because it helps with the chart, especially when you're dealing with some of these podcast apps as well, some like iTunes, things of that nature. So definitely leave me a review, all right? Let me know how much you love this podcast and how powerful it's been for you. All right, so really good episode today. I'm excited. And it's called The Dichotomy of Time and Money. Interesting topic. The dichotomy of time and money. When you hear the word money, typically you will have two types of emotions. Most people might have an emotion of want and strong desire to have it, or you might have an emotion of, abundance. But when you hear the word time, what comes to your mind when you hear the word time? It may not be as simple and clear as money. And my goal with this podcast is to clear up some myths out there. There are some myths out there about time and money. I'm going to share with you some real life testimonies and experiences for myself to understand when I came to a true understanding of time and money. And the title is perfect because when you look up the definition of dichotomy, and I looked this up, it says a contrast between two things that are represented as being opposed or entirely different. So, interesting term, dichotomy. And I believe that it couldn't be any more truer than when it comes to time and money. Because let me tell you this right from the jump. Time is your most precious asset. Most of us have it backwards. See, here's the mindset that I have encountered with a lot of people out there. And I'm not just talking about entrepreneurs. People in general value money more than time. And that's already from the gate is a huge error. You probably saying, Chris, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard the phrase before, Time is money. Time is money. Time is money. If you ever heard that phrase before, I'm sure you have. And when you heard it or when you said it, you might have believed that to be true. But it's not. It's not true at all. Why would I say it's not true? Well, check this out. When you hear the phrase time is money, most of the time, is used in conjunction with you working, exchanging time for money. Time is money. Time is money. Time is money. And here is the truth about that. Why that phrase is 100% untrue. Time is not money. Time and money are two different things. Number one, money. See, here's the deal. We treat money as if it's limited, and we treat time as if it's abundant. What do I mean? Think about your own daily schedule. How do you prioritize your time? Let me break this down for you even more. I used to say that phrase too, time is money. But I began to realize time is more important than money. Why? Because time is your most precious asset. Because why? God is not making any more. You and I, my friend, both have 24 hours in a single day. And that's broken down in time. That's called time. So time, God is not making any more time. The days are not expanding to 28 hours a day. The weeks are not expanding to 10 days a week. The years are not expanding to 400 days a year. So time is way more precious than money. Because why? It's a limited resource. However, money is quite the opposite. See, the mistake a lot of people make, and I noticed this too recently when we did when finished up our most recent master class, that people, here is a fact. I noticed for a while. When you have money, see what money does, I'm going to share this with you. What money does is this. Money allows you to do something with time that you could not otherwise do. Money allows you to buy back time. What do I mean? For example, we have members who graduated into God's masterpiece, right? And so what happened is they got a mentor. They got a coach. They got guidance. They got training. They got the right community. They got everything that you need to accelerate your results in your business. But there are some, for whatever reason, didn't graduate into God's masterpiece. Maybe they value their money a little too much. And so what they would choose to do is to try to figure something out on their own. Or they would go to YouTube and try to figure something out by watching bunch of free videos 12, 14 hours a day. Why? Because their mindset is, I'm going to take the time, even if it takes me 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 60 months to try to figure this out on my own. Instead of me taking my money and shortening the learning curve by investing in myself and getting the right training, the right community, the right mentor, right? And so when you do that, what it does, you take time and you compress it. Check this out. You take time and you compress it by what? Using your money to buy back time. Because why? Here's one fact. You're going to continue to age every single day as long as God has breath in your lungs. And a fact is this. A year from now, you're going to be 1 year older. And I can pretty much guarantee, like, when I have my clients and students invest in God's masterpiece, a year from now, they're going to be 10, 20, 30 paces ahead of those. Because why? They have shortened the learning curve by compressing time. So they've been able to take my experience, right, and get my knowledge, my skills, my expertise, and apply it to their business, and allows them to compress time. So they able, why? Because they're taking something that is not as important. Why? Because money comes and goes. Money is like leaves on trees. Money is like leaves on trees. Think of leaves on the trees. You have winter, spring, summer, fall, the 4 seasons, right? And typically, depending on what, where you live, but most part, leaves in the fall do what? Begin to change colors. Because why? They're in the winter, they're going to begin to what? Fall off. And typically in the fall, they begin to fall off the tree, right? And there are no leaves. Then in the spring, they begin to bloom. And in summer, they're in full growth mode, right? That's how money is. Money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. So you can always earn more money, but you can never make more time. The only way you can, quote unquote, make more time is by buying it. You buy it with training programs. You buy it with books. You buy it with courses. You buy it with coaching and mentor and masterminds, right? You buy it because you get to take the experience from others and compress it and apply it. See, most people, when they believe the myth that time is money, typically have what I like to say an employee mindset. What's an employee mindset? An employee mindset is someone who is used to trading time for money. And typically, when you trade time for money, you're always getting paid less than what you're worth, especially if you work a job. Your job never pays you pretty much what you're worth. And if you're trading time for money, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, $30 an hour, most likely you're being underpaid. Because it's a cap on what you can earn. And you have to give the most precious asset 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day in exchange for money. Right? And so here's another example that I see a lot of people making mistakes with. I do not cut my grass. Now, I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being prideful. I'm not being conceited, but I do not cut my grass. Now, some of my neighbors, they cut their grass, right? So why do I not cut my grass? Well, here's the deal. I value my time more than my money. I would rather pay a lawn crew to come to my house every couple of weeks and give them $30 every time, $60 a month, $70 a month, whatever the case. And why? Because if I cut the grass, and I've done it years ago, it's going to take me about 90 minutes to cut the grass. 90 minutes. It's going to take me 90 minutes to mow it, then weed eat it, weed whack it, trim it, blow it, front and backyard. It's going to take me about 90 minutes. And I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be tired, and it may take me another hour or so to recover from that. So you're looking at about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, right? When I could gladly pay someone who wants to cut my grass, who enjoys cutting my grass, who is much better than I am in cutting my grass. And while they're out cutting my grass, and so let's do the math. Let's just say I'm gonna be even let's say it takes you 1 hour to do your yard. Okay. So you cut your grass twice a month. So that's 2 hours. And I pay and so that's $60. So $60 divided by 2. That's $30 an hour, right? Now, for most people, $30 an hour is a lot of money. But for what I'm doing and where I'm at in my business, $30 an hour doesn't move the needle. And so one of my mentors told me this a long time ago. They said, if you want to become extremely successful in your business, you have to know what to delegate. And you do no job. I said, you do not do any job that's less than $100 an hour. Anything's less than $100 an hour, you delegate, you outsource. You get somebody else to do it who wants to do it. See, while someone's out cutting my grass, right? I'm in my office working on $1,000 an hour